What is going on, YouTube? You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. What's going on, folks? Welcome in. Is abuse the new norm? It may be. We're going to talk about it. I tell you what. You can tell how happy I was about that. It may be, though. It very well may be. Who do you know that doesn't have some form of abuse or trauma in their past? I bet you the answer is nobody, or maybe like one person. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Why is this happening? What's the deal with this? What the heck, right? Ben Bacon Bits, what's going on? Paying the big bucks for that imagery. I tell you what, Body Illusion, good morning. Surviving Together, hello. I'm going to try not to get too triggery with this Surviving Together. I just want to talk about like the phenomenon of trauma and abuse being a widespread thing, you know? I don't know anyone that doesn't have trauma. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody that hasn't had to walk through the fire, so to speak. And I think that's wrong. I don't think that should be the case. Why is that the case? So I want to talk about that a little bit. I understand it's triggering for some folks, but man, talk about widespread panic, right? This is like widespread abuse. It is the new norm. Anyways, Rocket Queen, hello, good morning. Charlie Mullins, of course, good to see you. Deidre Gore, hello. Yeah, I'm really excited to revisit the painting this evening or this afternoon, Ben. We're going to fix up some of those happy little mistakes. I should have put the sky on when I put the background on, but we're gonna just keep moving. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna put the sky on, put some details on there. And you know, this might be a work in progress. Maybe we come back and paint every day and we keep adding little things. Like I could see a little boat on there and maybe some like floating candles, and we'll add some like glow around them. And I mean, there's so many things I could do with this one painting, and I have like 4 other canvases. There's always more canvases to buy. So I think this is going to be a new staple part of the boat where we come on and do some sort of hobby. It doesn't have to be painting. But imagine if you took an hour out of your day to stop thinking about stuff and just painted or just did something else. Quite a welcome moment of peace, I would have to say. Deidre Gore says, it's always been the norm. We just didn't talk about it. You may be right. Mario, what's going on? So bummed I missed the first art show. Well, there will be another one today, probably about the same time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Maybe a little sooner. We'll see. I think my dad's doing something at 11, so I think 1 is probably perfect for the art. But yeah, what's going on here with this abuse, huh? Deidre says, it's always been the norm. We're just now talking about it. Well, man, what the heck, right? Is that in our nature? Is it human nature to take advantage, manipulate, control, and abuse? I don't think so. I think that this may have been the way that the world worked, and we're now just becoming aware that it's not okay. I don't really know about that, but I tell you what, especially relatable Reese, what's going on? Love what you just said, taking an hour to do something else. Hope you're well, my friend. I am very, very well. I hope you're well as well. It's really good to see you. Did you see this thing, Reese? Look at this. Look at this. I know it's just like a big happy mistake, but I'm pretty happy about it. It's not terrible. That's for sure. It is not terrible. I got my sweet little setup over here. What was I saying? Gosh darn it. Abuse being the new norm, especially in light of all this Diddy stuff, you know, and it kind of seems like there's been an avalanche of entertainer stuff, right? I don't know if you guys know, but on Hulu, they have a 2020 segment on the secret life of Diddy. I watched that last night, and it's just pretty much like an episode of My Dad, with like real life interviews and footage, and it's like basically what we've been watching, except it's 2020's ABC's version. And it was quite graphic, quite eye-opening. They played the clip of Cassie Ventura in the hallway. Quite disturbing, I have to say. And you know, you've heard when you talk about Biggie and Tupac's murders, I said murder, right? a lot of people say and have said since this happened, Diddy did it, right? This has been, my hair is dripping on me. This has been a topic, or this has been a comment that's been made billions of times, right? Since it's happened. And nobody put any stock into it, or maybe they did, but he was protected, or I don't know exactly the phenomenon, but people getting away with stuff like this. And I guess this is different than the abuse that I'm trying to talk about, right? Like, for example, the neglect that I experienced growing up was technically abuse, right? My mother and father did not intend to abuse me, right? They weren't trying to go out of their way to manipulate, to abuse, to neglect, right? But ipso facto, it kind of, the way it went down, it was a little neglectful. And I say little because I don't want to, it's old stuff I don't want to dig up, and I don't want to beat my dad up for it, right? But, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Who do you know that hasn't had some sort of rough thing that they went through, whether it was NSA, whether it was abuse or neglect from their parents growing up, whether it was, in the workplace, regardless, everyone here knows someone or themselves have experienced abuse in the world. And it's not the kind of abuse where, I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but it's not I'm going to keep going. It's not the kind of abuse that, well, what happened? Are we still good? My screen turned off. Give me a 5x5. My computer went off again. Are they cutting my power? What is going on? 5x5? Please hold. What the heck? This was going to be such a great episode, and now I'm just dealing with stuff. Maybe it was just a fluke, power surge or something. Everything seems to be fine. I'm always worried that a roach is going to crawl up into my computer and bridge some circuit and then fry my brand new PC. I'd be so sad. I'd be so sad and so broke and so without a computer. What was I friggin' saying? Holy crap. The fact that that it's prevalent like that in the entertainment industry is one thing, but it being so close to home for so many people that I know is another thing. And I think that they're different. I think that if there is a solution, it's different for these situations, right? Systemic abuse in the entertainment industry is one thing, but like societal systemic abuse is a whole nother thing. In fact, the entertainment industry systemic abuse might fall under the umbrella of societal abuse, right? And I don't think that we find it okay, because obviously we don't. And by the way, Deidre Gore, there are dead roaches. There's not really that. I saw one living last night, and he was covered in the poison, so it's working. It's just working slowly. I barely ever see them anymore. But still, that fear is in my mind, that because the side of my computer is open, I don't close it because I have to start it with a screwdriver. Anyways, it might fall, the entertainment abuse might fall under societal abuse umbrella, right? And when I say that, I just mean organizationally. The entertainment industry might be that way because society is a certain way. And I'm not saying that it's not okay with any of us, right? But it's okay with somebody. It's probably okay with a lot of somebodies. In fact, I don't think it got this way by accident. It's most likely this way because some people with power and money wanted to do these things. And they thought, well, if everybody's doing these things, and that's a big, wild conspiracy theory. But the point being is, I don't think that addressing the abuse in the entertainment industry is enough. I think we need to address the way that we speak and treat each other, the way we speak to each other, the way that we each move through the world. And I think that that's what we do here on a daily basis. I think we're doing a great job, but it's not enough, right? 25,000 people is not enough. How many people are on the planet? Billions, right? And it takes all of us to tango. To make a systemic change, we all need, like, this generation and in the next generation and the generation after that need to be doing better than they did the day before, right? So I think we're headed in the right direction. there is hope, right? I would like to put hope. I don't like fire and brimstone. And when I first came up with the idea for the show, it was very fire and brimstone. Abuse is the new norm, right? Those are some heavy words. And I didn't want to leave it there because that's not okay. That's not like leaving it on fire and brimstone as far as a vibe is not productive. I can scare people and fear, all day long, but is that going to affect change? Like maybe, but not the kind of change that I want, right? We all need to be self-sufficient, independent beacons of love. We all need to be out there doing what we can, right? And I'm not saying we need to go out there and confront abusers. Obviously, when an abuser shows his face, a confrontation may be necessary or beneficial at the very least. All I'm trying to say is move through the world in the way that you would like to see other people moving through the world, right? It's like that golden rule. That's really, literally all we need to do. And if every single one of us does it, a change happens. And we don't even need 100% of people, right? If we can get the majority of people, the other people will fall in line. And I think, again, that we're doing a great job. We have a great start. But abuse being the norm, like it's normal now, right? When you hear it, your first reaction is, oh, again. Your first reaction is, oh, another one. I mean, mine is. That's my reaction. That's disgusting. That's friggin' disgusting. And that's the world that we live in. These are the people that we share the planet with, right? And let's be real. We're not just talking about the Diddy's and the DiCaprios and the Oprahs and the, I don't know, allegedly, right? A bunch of those people I just named haven't been proven guilty of anything. But regardless, we're also talking about the Tommy Scovilles, right? We're talking about the people in our past. We're talking about my ex. We're talking about your ex. We're talking about regular, everyday people that have done their best, right? And their best happened to leave us in a position that was lesser, happened to leave us in a position that was less than ideal, right? Well, why do those people act that way? Well, it's most likely a domino effect. I know, for example, I'm going to segue a little bit. I've been thinking a lot about Lucy the past couple of days. And you know why? It's because it's October 24th. That's why. It's because it's right around fall time every year. She is on my mind. And I will never say her name, her actual name on this channel. I don't know why I felt a need to say that. But I have said her name on this channel on accident. It's never going to happen again. If you really wanted to, you could go find it. But and I can't remember why I'm never going to say her name, but doesn't matter. I don't need to give her publicity, I guess, but I wish her the best and whatnot. What was I talking about? Oh, in Lucy's case, I think that she acted the way that she did because she didn't know any better. I think that she acted the way that she did because she thought it was the best thing to do, right? It just so happened to absolutely scar me, right? And maybe part of it is I allowed myself to be scarred, right? Maybe I walked into those fires willingly. That's probably the case. But regardless, her best was atrocious in that moment, right? Obviously, her best was often amazing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been together. But that being said, we're not just talking about crazy superstar people. We're talking about everyday people that you and I interact with. There is systemic generational trauma and abuse in our society, and it falls downhill. It falls down the generations, right? If I'm not, like, that's another reason why I'm nervous to have children. I'm not ready. And they say you're never going to be ready, right? But if I bring a child into this world and I'm not ready in a manner that's going to leave them with trauma and abuse, right? With scars on their soul, I don't want that. I don't know if I could live with that. Right? So I can't just come on here and say this needs to end because it's not going to just be swept away. It doesn't work like that. We all have to be diligent every single day and do what we can. And it might not be a whole lot, and that's okay. What isn't a whole lot to you is a giant ripple to the world, right? Remember that. Tiny little actions, helping a little old lady across the street. It's a cliche. But that has huge ripples that you can't possibly understand. That's going to affect people you don't know. That's going to affect people that don't even see it. That's going to affect people that hear about it. It's going to have a huge effect. Cheryl Niles, good morning. Annika, hello, hello. Matrix, Rabbit, Maramello. Like that name. But we walk into those fires without our eyes open because we haven't been educated on healthy boundaries, what a healthy relationship looks like. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Surviving together. Our resident expert. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We walk into it without our eyes open. We kind of just find ourselves in these places because we don't know any better. We don't know any better. And back to the systemic generational domino effect thing, we would know better if our parents knew better, right? So now we're in a position where we know better, right? We have learned, we have been educated. Let's go ahead and do our best to educate our peers when these issues come up, right? We don't need to be out there preaching fire and brimstone, right? And shaking our finger. But when these situations organically come up and we're with our friends or family, we maybe can say a couple words like, hey, this is what's going on. It doesn't need to be a whole thing. We don't need to have a row, right? But we can definitely educate our peers because that's literally how we gained this understanding. We either educated ourselves or we educated each other, right? That's what's going on. If we continue to do so, things will continue to move in the direction that they will. And we've seen, so the people are sick of this, right? We're going to go back to the superstars now. The people are sick of this. And we've been seeing the people's reaction to big entertainers feeling untouchable and doing disgusting things for a while now. There was the Travis Scott concert where people died. There was, what else has been going on? So much stuff. But every time there's outrage from the people and then not a lot changes, right? Well, I think that we're seeing that change now. I think now we're seeing when people become outraged, now we're seeing legal ramifications. Now we're seeing Cassie Ventura step forward. Now we're seeing a bunch of people step forward like, oh, she's doing it, I'm with her. When the Me Too movement first started happening, I thought to myself, this is dangerous, right? This is very dangerous. But I'm coming to understand now that it's quite necessary. It has the potential to be dangerous and false, right? But I don't think that the more I read in, the more I find out what's going on. I don't think that these people are lying at all. Obviously, I'm not saying that no one's ever lied about SA, right? But it's one of those topics that's hard to talk about the truth or the falsehood of, right? Because of the nature of it, because nobody talks about it and we want people to talk about it, right? Otherwise, the problem won't get fixed. So it's an interesting issue. But I remember when this first started happening, I thought to myself, this is going to be interesting. This is dangerous. But it has definitely become something that I think is necessary. It's become like something that is making a big difference and a big change. If Cassie Ventura hadn't stepped forward and filed that crazy lawsuit, even though she took a settlement, which, I mean, honestly, if I was in her shoes, I would have taken the money too. Hell yeah, right? Pay for the rest of my life after what you put me through. You know what I mean? But even after taking the money, that video still comes out, right? Justice is still served. Good for her. But also, not only that, but because she had the balls to step forward, now a bunch of people are having the balls to step forward. It's an avalanche. It's insane. It's an avalanche. And this is good. This is good. If it seems like an unrealistic amount, if it seems like a ridiculous amount of people, it's because that just speaks to the magnitude of this issue that's been literally swept under the rug for years and years and years and years. Izzy E, nice to see you always. I keep seeing your name, but I'm just on a roll, so I don't stop to say hello. But hello. I'm so happy you're here. Did you see my painting, Izzy? It's not done yet. We're going to put a little lifeboat on there. We're going to clean up some edges. We're going to turn those happy mistakes into happiness, period. Put a sky on it. Maybe some candles. I don't know. Some floating candles. Some little glow going on. Put round that moon out. We're not done, but I'm super proud. I didn't know that painting was so much fun. It's one of my new favorite things. Magic of Healing, Jimena. Hello, hello. Seventh Son, Steve-O. I'm not a big fan of these sweatpants right now. I need to do laundry so I can wear some shorts. Deaudre Gore says the number of false reports of SA is vanishingly small, like less than 2%. Most cases never make it to court. And those that do seldom have convictions. There is no danger in Me Too. Interesting. Curious and curiouser. I understand that the words that I spoke on that may have been traumatizing, or not traumatizing, triggering. But I'm just here trying to speak my truth. And yeah, I think that my position is quite understandable. I love it when people text me while I'm live. Kellyanne, good to see you. Yeah, everyone's accountability is so vital and often lacking. Integrity, folks. I tell you what, very important to me. Speaking of, today I need to call the power company and make sure I know what's going on so they don't cut my power. I also need to call call Amazon as well as the P.O. Box place to figure out what's going on with all that stuff that wasn't delivered. Robin Miners, good morning. I like what Surviving Together has to say here. There is potential for false claims, but we need to take all claims at face value until investigation. 100% agree. That's what I was trying to word, but I didn't have the words, and here are the words right here. Thank you so much. Otherwise, we run the risk of being skeptical of all claims, which we shouldn't be, right? We want these people to step forward because, it's obviously a difficult thing to do. It's obviously not something anyone wants to admit to, let alone have something happen to them, right? So whatever we can do to protect these people, to encourage these people, to lift these people up, we need to do so. Otherwise, they're not going to speak up. They're just going to silently suffer, which is not what we want, obviously. With all the Arizona prop whatever ads, I've been seeing quite enough of sitting and suffering language and imagery. Good Lord. The political ads drive me nuts. I tell you what. All the stuff that they're talking about are human issues, right? They're not something that should be on an ad. They're not something that should be a talking point or an electing point. These shouldn't be things that people have control over. And it's sick and disgusting what's going on with the campaign ads. I tell you what. I say we burn it all down. I think the whole system is jacked up. I want to talk about that for a second. We're going to switch it up. I know we only talked for about 20 minutes about what we're supposed to talk about, but here I go. I'm going to rant. One more, hold on. Dale Cox, good to see you, brother. All right. How old do you have to be to run for the House or the Senate? I'm going to look it up real quick before I start ranting. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, it's different for every state. That's intelligence. I guess that's kind of the way the United States works, though, huh? Governor and lieutenant governor seem to be the highest. In California, you can be 18 with an asterisk, apparently. This is Wikipedia, though, so with a grain of salt. I'm not going to be checking any of these sources. We're just going to do a cursory look. 30 seems to be the highest number on here. Got to be 30 years old. So that's not so bad. That's not so bad. I can relate with a 30-year-old. I'm 32, right? So I get it. But let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. They're not all as old as I thought they were. Interesting. I was going to say, look at all these people. Can you relate with them? But, I mean, there's quite a good mix of ages. Well, there goes that. I tell you what, though. I tell you what is the difference between me and them? What's the difference between us and the politicians, right? Why does it seem like their values are so alien? Why does it seem like the stuff that they care about is so far from what we care about that it's mind-blowing? What is that phenomenon? Is it because they have money and we don't? I don't know if it's that simply that. I don't know if it's simply because they're rich. It could be. It definitely could be. Were they always rich? Did they become rich when they entered this position of power? I'm not entirely sure how it works, but it bothers me. It keeps me up at night. I tell you what. And I can't go anywhere. And is that really what it is? Because they're in a position to make decisions that they get funded by lobbyists? Is it simply that money is thrown at them because they have the power to change things? Because that's pretty wild. Why is that legal? Why is it okay to lobby? Like, I understand that, like the concept of lobbying, right? We would like to pay you to promote this. Understood, right? But how is that ethical or moral? How is that checks and balances? How is that a republic? Is that not oligarchy, right? Is that not like a small group of people, the people with the money, making the decisions? Am I crazy here? Or are we living in a friggin' oligarchy? I've never said this on the internet before. I've only said this to my friends, but we are not in a democratic republic. That is not what the USA is. It masquerades as a democratic republic. But we are cogs in a machine. Our purpose in this country is to do the manual labor, is to make the stuff work, is to work the cash register, right? Is to be a secretary, is to be a janitor, is to be the doorman, right? Is to run the restaurant, right? The establishments. We're meant to make the regular day stuff, the regular goings on function. That's our function. And I'm not saying that because that's how it should be. I'm saying that because that's how it is. It might be a tough pill to swallow, but we are not meant to reach above our place. And our place is down at the bottom, on the ground. And it is ridiculous. I don't have faith or hope that this is going to change. This is how it's always been. And imagine what would need to happen for it to not be this way. Like, there's two avenues that I see. There's like a slow, gradual change of mind and heart, which I think is optimal. But is that actually going to happen? I don't think so. I mean, obviously there's an awakening happening. Obviously people are becoming privy to what's going on, right? Social media and the cell phone with the camera in it and instant messaging and the internet at large has changed things forever. They'll never go back to the way they were, right? So now these things are out in the open, but these things are still happening. In fact, if Diddy's doing it, what do you think the House of Representatives is doing, right? What do you think the Senate's doing? What do you think the president's doing? It's interesting. There was presidential controversy before there was any of this stuff. You know, and it's a big deal, but it also kind of gets swept under the rug. I mean, it's a really big deal, and I don't want to start a political debate or anything, right? I'm not picking sides here. I'm talking about the system at large, which is busted, right? It's meant to subjugate us, which is wild. There's subjugation and then there's subjugation, right? Like, I still have autonomy. I can walk out my front door when I would like to. You know, I can go to the grocery store and choose what I'm eating. You know, I don't get paid the same as everyone else because we don't live in a communism. That was the wrong way to say that, but you understand what I'm saying. But at the same time, I am in a box, right? I can function inside the box. I kind of feel like a rat in a maze. I think that's a great comparison, right? And you know, when I really get ranting on this, I start to feel ungrateful because I have a lot to be grateful for. And I think that's how they continue to this continues to happen. I think that's one of the main reasons that it keeps going on is because we do have enough to be content. 100%, right? The sky necessarily isn't the limit, but I mean, the limit is beyond my sight, right? So I think that we should keep things in perspective and be grateful. But at the same time, it's easy to also get caught up in the cogs of the machine, right? It's very easy to unknowingly be crushed under the wheels of said machine. So it's non-ideal, but things could be worse, right? Things could be very, very worse. We could be living in medieval dark times, right? Things could be very, very different. We could be living in Nazi Germany. You know what I mean? Like there's subjugation and there's subjugation, right? There's there's this and then there's fascism. Like there's levels to this thing for sure. So I don't want to sound and feel super ungrateful, but it is something that no one ever talks about. It is something that is real. It is something that pervades our entire society and drives me absolutely nuts. And if all I have to do is watch abortion ads, every 4 years for a few months, like I guess I can stomach that. But gosh darn it, I wish I didn't have to, right? I wish they would just do away with that. I wish that would stop. It is maddening. And the details have always been maddening to me when the big picture is kind of okay, right? But the details bother me, drive me up the wall. It's the little things that really, really drive me nuts. Like abortion ads. Like, holy crap. Get that out of my face. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Rick Spicer, what's going on? Good to see you. We talk about it a lot on Surviving Together. Fantastic. That's good. Should be taught in school. Wow. You know that what they taught me in school? They taught me how to remember stuff and how to be on time. Both things not very friggin' useful in the grand scheme. They could have taught me a lot more, right? Like how to handle and express anger, like how to self-regulate, like how to self-soothe. I mean, obviously math is pretty useful on a daily basis, but I was also told there would be no math. So what do we have now? No, I think for real though, I think they could teach much more useful things in school. They're training us to be a part of the machine by teaching us to be on time and to remember what we're told. It's pretty ridiculous. Regurgitate information, why don't you? So you can spread the rumors in the machine. This is starting to sound very tinfoily, but man, it's been churning in my mind. All right, let's switch the subject again. We're going to be all over the place today. But we have talked a lot recently about the body having memory and certain periods of time being especially difficult on the road to recovery, the road of recovery, because of what we've experienced around that time in the past. And the fall time is very difficult for me. I always think of Lucy, and I don't know if that's where it started or if there was something going on before that. But now it's Lucy because that was the most recent thing that happened in the fall, I think. But it's always rough for me in the fall. It was her birthday. It was the time that we broke up. And memories always come flooding back of emotions, how I feel, memories of happenings, memories of people that were in our circle at that time, memories of all of the destruction, like the complete breakdown of our lives. And every year it's a little less. Every year it doesn't hurt so bad. Like last year around this time, I was still living in Salt Lake. And honestly, Jess and I were trying to be friends. And I believe on her birthday, we went out to eat. And I went very far out of my way to be there. And it was visceral. It hurt a lot. I remember, I don't know if it was the next day or if it was just shortly thereafter that dinner experience for her birthday. I reached out to her and told her, I don't ever want to see you again. I've tried really hard, but I cannot be with you. I cannot be around you. I can't be in communication with you. I can't let this stuff go, right? I forgive you, but I can't forget what has happened and what you've done to me, kind of thing. And that was the last time. Well, it wasn't the last time we spoke, but That was the last time that I was like partially invested in our relationship, right? Whether it be romantic or not. And I've bumped into her at the regional burn in Utah since then. That was this year, the first trip back I took. I ran into her. I texted her the other day about a book that she apparently had texted my grandparents about. So, like, you know, we've had contact since then, but it feels different this year. And we broke up, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, right? So this has been a thing for 5 or 6 years where around the fall time, I'll start to feel lesser. But, you know, I'm remembering all these things and it does hurt, but it's like the memory of hurt. It's not punching me in the heart. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, I remember this and it sucked, which is really cool. There's hope, right? I don't know if it's due to just the sheer amount of time that's passed or if I'm actually, you know, the work that I'm doing is having an effect. I'm sure the work that I'm doing is having an effect, right? But to what degree? I'm very grateful that it's not as poignant as it was, because I would not make it. If I had to feel like that every year, holy crap. Which I'd like to identify real quick. What I just said is a reservation. Those are bad. Those are very bad. We don't want those. If this were to happen, I wouldn't make it. Those are curse words. You're cursing yourself with those words. I take all of that back. It would be very hard to deal with, though. 100%. I would not be stoked if it hurt the same every year. Wharton Fissel, what's going on? You know, I think you're right, Jane. I don't spend a whole lot of time with older folks these days, although historically I have always spent a lot of time with older folks, which is interesting. Age has always been not but a number for me. And I definitely have always seemed to relate and get along better with people older than me, which is interesting. Mario, thank you for saying this. I try to give myself credit. I definitely do. Sometimes I forget. I'm so focused and driven on some other stuff. Thank you for saying this, Jane. Your wife has been sober for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Wharton Fissel. I've got a big win today, dude. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I've been praying for you guys. I hope that's okay for me to say. That's awesome, Wharton. Let's just do our best, right? That's all we can do. I think that's amazing, dude. That is so cool. That's a really big deal. We've been talking about this for a long time, haven't we? Wow, man. I almost don't believe it's real. I'm so stoked. Yeah, man. Good for her. Wow. I'm behind you guys 100%. I hope you cry happily, dude. It's good. We've been literally hoping for this, man, for a long. I'm gonna cry, dude. But dude, that's so cool. That's super duper cool. Oh man. Please hold. Wow, what a big win, dude. Holy crap. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. For those of you that have ever, I don't know, I don't want to trigger any gambling addicts here, but sometimes I will roll my 3 dice. And if you're familiar with the game CeeLo, 4, 5, 6 means I instantly win. If there's other people that still need to roll, they lost. I won because I rolled 4, 5, 6. And that's what I just rolled right now, which fills my brain with happy chemicals. I don't know why. Yeah, add to that happiness. Why don't you? Right, Wharton? Yo, they come in strong too. I can tell when I'm on your guys' minds as well, right? Like it's a power you can feel. And I don't necessarily subscribe to any religion, right? But like I know the power of intention and love and hope, right? And I don't necessarily understand what I'm doing, but I am praying for you. You know what I mean? Like growing up, praying meant something different to me than it means now, right? It's subscribed to, a doctrine. But when I do that now, it's very different. I'm glad that it makes a difference because it definitely makes a difference for me and for my dad. I know 100% when you guys are thinking about us, when you guys are praying for us. So we appreciate that so much. Your husband has been sober 3 months, doing therapy and taking responsibility of everything. Wow. That's awesome, Jimena. I have to say, I'm continually surprised with your situation, but also very grateful. These are good things. These are beautiful things. I love you guys, Shannon. Project Rook, what's going on? Welcome in. Tommy Bird. What is going on? We were talking about lots of stuff. We were talking about abuse being the new norm and what that exactly means. We were talking about politics a little bit, I know, right? And not in the debatey sense, but in like the systemic corruption kind of sense. And then we talked a little bit about some trauma that I've been going through. We've been talking a lot recently about how the body holds on to memory. And maybe you're getting a massage and thoughts will come up right as you work through a certain type muscle. Well, in the fall time, pretty much cyclically every year, I have a hard time and lots of memories of Lucy and I flood back. And I was just talking about that. And then we were talking about Wharton Fissel, whose wife, I believe is 2 or 3 weeks sober. I forget the exact number, but regardless, has some time under her belt. And then we kind of cried a little bit and commiserated. And then we were talking about Jimena and how her husband's also doing well, taking responsibility and on a sober journey. So things have just been all over the place this morning, I tell you what, but we're glad you're here. Miss Dragon, what's going on? Going to the Dockdale, do some tincture. All right, hold on. I don't know if you're still here. I'm going to put some in the coffee. I kind of like that slow burn. I don't know why. Maybe because it's not all at once and it's easier, or maybe because I get to burn over and over. I'm not entirely sure why, but we're going to put a little bit more than I normally do right in the coffee. Wow, I got a fruit forward on that one. And then what do we do? I guess we use my finger, huh? I get sidetracked, Dale. I had intended to do tincture with you today, and I was waiting for you to show up, and then you showed up, but I was like somewhere else in my head. Very nice. Very nice. I might need to put more. That didn't taste very spicy. My tolerance is going up. Salud, Dale, if you're still out there. I hope you have a great day, brother. For those of you that don't know, that's capsaicin tincture. Capsaicin is the oil in peppers that makes them spicy. So this isn't a psychoactive material. This isn't a drug of any kind. It's literally just pure spice that I put into my coffee because I'm crazy like that. Just want to be upfront and forward. I know we have a lot of new people these days, and this is a anti-addiction channel. We're not a sobriety channel, right? We're an anti-addiction channel. We believe that connection is the opposite of addiction. And I always try and come on here with a recovery-centered kind of message. And again, harm reduction, right? Anti-addiction, not anti-drug. We're not mad if you use. You know what I mean? Like that's not. We want everyone to show up exactly how they are, and that's fine. That's what we need, right? Not everyone can commit to complete abstinence right out the gate. Not everyone can just cold turkey, especially if you're on benzodiazepines, right? If that's your drug of choice, or if you're on alcohol, or if you're on heroin, or some opiate, so to speak, right? There are medical assisted treatments specifically for these drugs because it's so dangerous to cold turkey, to just abstain, right? And so there's a lot of reasons that this channel has come about. But for one, conceptually, is the space where the 12 steps misses, right? The space where people that can't completely abstain, where are they supposed to go, right? The people that are using Suboxone or what's the other one? Starts with an M. Gosh darn it. The people that are using any sort of medical assisted treatment, where do they go? Where do they get support? Why are they alienated at the 12 steps, right? Well, not here, right? Here, no matter who you are, where you come from, what you're into, we can work with that, all right? As long as you're a nice person. We don't like mean people. Methadone. Thank you, Johnny. I knew what it was called. I just didn't have the word. I appreciate you, Johnny. Good to see you, by the way. Yes, I was thinking methadone, but there is a myriad. There's a ton of medical assisted treatment drugs that are all not accepted by the 12 steps. Apparently that's akin to using. And look, the 12 steps served me greatly, right? I wouldn't be here without them, but they are not servicing a huge portion of drug addicts and substance abusers. So, we are. If harm reduction is something that can benefit you, if addiction is something that you're struggling with, this is the place for you. Welcome aboard. This is the Lifeboat. We talk about hope, love, and I was about to say some stuff that CA would say, but yeah, we talk about all that good stuff. So I appreciate you being here. If you're a long time boater, welcome. We love you. If you're fresh, brand new, welcome. We love you. I'm glad you're here, regardless. Flick Fox, what's going on? Wasn't going to be here today, but felt the need to pop in for some ones from my boat fam. Let's put some ones up for Flick. A friend took. Oh no, and I'm struggling. No, you need somewhere to talk about it, Flick. I know it always feels like we're bringing our peers down, but you cannot hold those emotions and those words and those thoughts inside. Let's definitely get some ones up for Flick and her friends. I'm so sorry to hear this, yo. I'm going to also have a moment of silence, I think. Wow, there's that spice. Also, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new, the ones are our way of non-divisively sending love, prayers, whatever. Prayers seems to be a divisive word, right? We don't want to divide. We want to connect. Connection is the opposite of addiction, right? So when we put ones up, we're saying that we're sending thoughts, we're sending prayers, we're sending love, whatever you're sending, right? Whatever it is to you. Ones are the way that we make caring about people and their problems non-divisive, which whoever made that divisive in the first place should be. Anyways, we don't have to talk like that, but it shouldn't be a divisive thing, right? It should just be something we can naturally do. The fact that we have to replace words with ones is ridiculous, but it's serving a purpose. So. And I'm happy about it. I actually love the ones. I'm not trying to say I don't. Valerie Crowley, good to see you. Living my best life at 60. Let's go. I hope me too one day. Mars, hello. Good evening. Good morning. Kellyanne says, I was a teacher. I spent the first 4 months every year working with my primary school kids on how to play and get along. Made the rest of the year open to actually learning content and skills. I like that. If every teacher was a little bit more like you, Kelly, I tell you what, I am very grateful for you. And I really like that thumbnail. Yes, Valerie, exactly. Strength, support, care, connection. Better words than I could find myself. Absolutely, Mars. I know it's a strange thing to see for the first time, so I always try to explain. Welcome, by the way. Welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. I don't believe I've had the opportunity to meet you and say hello, but here it is. Captain Spanks Calhoun, and I'm at your service. Heck yeah, guys, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It makes a huge difference. If you have any comments or questions, suggestions, or if you just want to fart around and chat, please leave me a comment. I get in there. We've been experiencing quite a bit of comments lately, so I'm catching up. I do read them all, even if I do not respond. So, and I appreciate every single comment that's left. So, yeah, if you have something to say or whatever, please leave me a comment. The Admiral is going to be on about 11 a.m. Pacific time today, doing something awesome, I'm sure. And I'm going to come back and we're going to do some more art stream where we talk about lifeboat topics while painting, while building hobbies in real time with the crew. Because, again, hobbies are one of the ways that we're going to get through recovery. Hobbies are one of the ways that we, in order to break a habit, you have to replace it with something else, huh? So I've never painted before yesterday, but I guess I'm not too bad. And it was a lot of fun. So we're going to go again. We're going to build some good habits with the crew in real time while talking about some lifeboat-centric topics. So thank you for joining me, those that did yesterday, and I look forward to doing it again. I had to stop myself from painting more because I wanted to do it with you guys. So that's how much I loved it. Thanks for being here. I've been Captain Calhoun on the lifeboat, and I hope you guys will do Surviving Together. Let me write this down. Still haven't gotten into that email. Can you believe that? I'm not going to talk about that. Okay, I was going to complain about the way that my dad does things for a second, but I'm not going to do that. I just wish he had less going on sometimes, but I'm pretty sure that's a defense mechanism subconsciously. We'll see. Anyways, much love, guys. I'm out of here. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to someone else today, all right? Maybe just be kind to everyone. Captain Calhoun out.